Natalia on Luxury with Natalia. I'm delighted to be joined today with the lovely Chantelle in London. How are you, Chantelle?
I'm fantastic. Thank you very much, Natalia. How are you?
Wonderful. And it's really nice and refreshing to have another marketeer at the disposal here on our video, and to talk about all that is luxury and all that is women in luxury as well, because as we know, we're both in the same industry, and working with luxury brands as a woman is not necessarily the easiest thing sometimes. Let's hear all about it from you.
Yeah, I think, great introduction there, Natalia. As a woman, I think sometimes we subjectify ourselves to, saying we're specific in some sectors and not others. I would sort of represent myself in saying that I've very much conditioned myself into going into more masculine dominated sectors, where it's, yachting, aviation, being a cigar aficionado myself, a wine connoisseur. So naturally, all of those things are pretty much separated into the more masculine side of things. But I think times are changing, things are looking up, things are coming more diverse. And I think people are opening their eyes to, having a more diverse mix at the table. Having the different topical conversations, bringing a different subjective opinion to things. I think, luxury itself has always been very resistant to wanting and adapting to change. But I really do see a difference and, changing of tides in a lot of industries, to be honest.
That's right. And you just tapped onto two of the industries I've also been involved with, yachting and aviation. And in your opinion, so I always found that aviation is way more masculine driven, but however, it's easier to get by. I mean, once you're in, and you can really get that your strategy across and people listen to you. Whereas in yachting, it can be also a little bit more challenging, and sort of you have to have been in the industry a while. They don't trust you as much if you haven't. What's your experience on that side?
During aviation, a lot of the e-base trade shows, especially situated in Switzerland, Germany, more European side of things, I really find that they're more interested in looking at a creative imagination of a woman. They have a more creative flair, imaginative response to things. However, looking at a more broader approach, perhaps the trade shows in Asia, they don't seem to be as open and interested in as much as what women can bring to the table. And, we are separated in aviation. We're not necessarily at the top of the sphere, whether we're pilots, we're more situated within the creative industries of marketing the jet companies or crew staff, whatever it may be. But yeah, I certainly see aviation as more of a open-minded approach to diversity. I think the creative side of things, the men always look at it as, well, there must be a woman here because she's a wife of somebody that wants to buy an aircraft, that's got to carry all the luggage and the pets and the kids, whatever it may be. But in terms of, marketing, I really think the approach of going towards, whether it be a more female colour scheme in the aviation sector, really does shed light on a more family-orientated picture. When someone is perhaps buying an aircraft, they're looking to sell, they're looking to renew, whatever it may be. But completely agree with you on the whole yachting aspect. Both you and I have probably been to all of the yacht shows around the world, and they are quite challenging. But again, I think when you know the right people in the industry, when you really tap into knowledge and education, I think that, sets you apart and above. Equally, it's not as easy it would be if you were a man, but us women have to work a slight bit harder. We have to get the knowledge, get the industry insides, and then I think it gives you a bit of credibility, but it takes years certainly to build up on any of those sort of topics, of course. But I think it really does set you apart as a woman if you've got the education behind it. But yeah, going up to yacht shows and, trying to discuss with the conglomerate companies what it is your intent about, or whether you've got a buyer or you're looking to creative design, whatever it may be, is quite a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good fun as well, and I think part of the challenge is having that creative spirit and being able to convert your expertise in front of a panel of sometimes some very, very judging individuals, but that's all part of the game, and that's what we're good at, so that's all good. And you've also worked with some amazing brands, so tell me a bit more. There's been Harrods involved, some car companies, Aston Martin, I believe, as well. Tell me a bit more.
Yeah, so I've been really lucky, I would say, throughout my career. It's been very diverse, and I've sort of been able to section it off into a lot of sectors that really have exclusive niches. Obviously, within the car industry, I've been able to do a lot of driving experiences, driving tours. So again, that enables a lot of introductions to the classical side of things, to the historical side of the car companies, as well as Formula E. I've worked with previously on a marketing strategy. So I've seen a whole sphere of the automotive industry, from classical side right up to electric, and then smack back in the middle, we've got Formula One, which is obviously a lot of people's favorites. But yeah, luxury, I think, starting at a very, very early age, doing a lot for Harrods. I integrated into the estate side of things, also the Harrods aviation, as well as the personal shopping. So, that really gave me a, subjective opinion on how many different diverse types of luxury there really were. How small but large the market really is.
It is quite a niche, isn't it? So once you've seen one aspect, I think you can plug and play in the others. However, the cool thing is to keep that identity of each company visible, and also the way that the market has changed. I mean, especially nowadays with the COVID-19 situation, and also who the buyers are, because the buying trends have changed, I believe, also throughout the years now, with Gen X and Gen Z and the millennials coming on board and mixing and matching luxury brands with mainstream brands that are, for example, H&M even. I mean, it's quite impressive how they wear their Hermes and then they've got like a Zara bag or whatnot. It's just interesting to see how that combines. And what's your opinion on what's going on now?
I think it's a very interesting topic. Certainly during the lockdown period, I've been endlessly watching and learning about how the luxury industry is changing, developing and adapting. I've seen a lot in terms of, obviously, digital increase. I mean, a lot of even luxury companies are working from home, as are many conglomerate companies. So I really do think looking at the adaptability of marketing, of PR, of the digital response, and again, of the buying attitude. So as you mentioned, the millennial generation, are, coming up into the sphere of millionaires. So they're looking at toys that are, of the wealth sector, which again enables them to really learn a new knowledge and industry category about their own sort of luxury. I think it's changing a lot because we don't want the traditional approach anymore. We want virtual experiences around a luxury yacht to see whether it's the right one for us to charter for our summers. We want to, have a whole list of jets to potentially charter with great prices. Like, the generation is no more, okay, here's two options, pick A or B. We now need the options of 10 to 15 plus, because we have so much more on our plates. We have so many more options at a click of a button. So I think it's changing rapidly, but in an incredible way, especially, during COVID. I really think marketers have tapped into their industries of what it is they're bringing to the table, how their approach differs to others, and, what separates them from their market capabilities and what separates them from bringing on board different aspects of, whether it be the aviation side of things, whether it be the yachting side of things. I think people are looking to more of a partnership approach. It no longer seems necessary to completely separate your brand, go, full force ahead without any help or conditioning. It's great to partner with others. It's great to diversify. It's great to adopt different sectors within your sector, to branch out into other categories and create new clientele.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm seeing more of a care syndrome, if you like, that the way that marketing is done and the messages coming out is more about that we're here for you and holding your hand and guiding you in these times. So that's nice and refreshing. It's not just bikinis and ladies lying on a super yacht or families going on a plane just for the vacation side. This is now about going back to basics, thinking about what is life in general, how precious it is to us, and what can companies do to make that experience that they can make happen with luxury even more heightened in that respect. So it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, completely. I mean, the whole one world approach and, we stand together in this has, I think, changed a lot of people's perspectives, especially, the likes of Kering and LVMH. They've come together, and what once was, completely out of a lot of people's capabilities of purchasing, a luxury goods bags, well, they're now providing PPE equipment, and the majority of the people are walking around, going to the food stores with their protective wear. I think it really has brought us together in a really communal environment. And I don't think, when we finally get out of this lockdown period, that things will revert back to where they were previously. I think they will adopt techniques that they've learned through the quarantine and put that into the future, because we have now experienced something that could well, we hope it wouldn't, but it could well happen again. It could well happen to a lot of people in different countries, or it could well happen on a global scale again. We have to implement knowing what could happen. So I think a lot of brands are going to be socially aware, economically aware, and diverse things to fit that approach.
That's wonderful. Yeah, thanks for your insights, Chantelle. And maybe on the last note, what would be your top advice to companies today if they wanted to target that ultra high net worth level? What is it that they can do to really stand out?
I think really diversify within sectors, as I previously mentioned. There's a lot of noise in the luxury industry about, getting to all these events and promoting, mass audiences online. But I think the ultra high net worth audience, they're really sit in a section to themselves. So they're very secretive. They don't look to audiences where there's 10,000 people plus. I think it's more of a niche audience. I mean, personally, I've found some fantastic and the most inspiring people in crowds of perhaps 10 to 8 people, where you're having private dinner parties, or you've got a unique experience on board a yacht, or whatever it may be. So I would, recommend to companies to really diversify, look into sectors where the wealthy share their interest. We've just mentioned 2 previously, which is cigars and fine wines. They are, a unique sector that have been around for hundreds of years, but they really do bring the ultra high net worth audiences, because, they have the credentials of being hard to get hold of. I think the high net worth audience wants something that's not available on the market. So diversifying both digitally, both through your marketing sphere, and as well your PR capabilities. The likelihood of people reading magazines is lowering day in, day out. So diversify your PR strategies. Aim to be approachable in different areas, whether it's trade shows that you'd never diversified into, or different publishing magazines that are targeting a different audience to what you usually would go for. I think it's just about diversity, I would say. Going forward, diversity is key to really regaining the ultra high net worth audience.
Get out of the comfort zone and start doing things differently. Definitely.
Well, moved out of that, definitely, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Moved out of our comfort zones.
This has been the biggest challenge for 4 months of trying to adapt and pivot. Pivot's another word that's come up a lot for companies and individuals who've been too comfortable in trying to get into something else and getting the customers. So fantastic. And if anyone wants to connect with you, where's the best place to go for?
So on my website, I've got all of my details of both my commercial side, my partnership side, and personal side. So my website, which is cblifestyle.com, or LinkedIn, Instagram, all of the usual social media profiles I'm available on. I'm very good at getting back to people, so reach out if you've got any queries or questions around the luxury industry.
Wonderful, Chantelle. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope to see you soon.
Excellent, Natalia. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was another episode on Luxury with Natalia. More coming soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Exciting stuff coming up. Thanks. Bye.